The week of the tour's arrival in Tokyo. Thanks for working with my schedule. I know you were quite eager, Max. It's nice to finally meet you two. Yes, of course, this is important to me. I ensured that my schedule was wide open. I didn't want any conflicts regarding time. I'm glad it all worked out. So, may I ask what you wanted to say? I've never had someone so set on a meeting. You must be very passionate about this. I guess you could use that word. Your employees called it stubborn. You must mean Rook. I assure you, he's harmless. You'll see if you run into him in person. He can be very rude in his emails. But honestly, that's what I need. He's succinct and on the ball. He weeds out those who would waste my time. And he doesn't damage our public image. I'd say it's a win-win scenario, Max. I could see how he'd scare people away. You're lucky to have a man like him. Let's just hope he stays with the team. I read about his work in the past. How he ran away from a maid cafe. I hope he's as reliable as you say. I'm surprised you were able to learn that. He's usually very secretive about his past. I have seen him take down entire websites. I have my ways. I'm sure, but let's be more open. You didn't come here to talk about Rook. What are you after, Ms. Armstrong? Don't say it like that, Singe. It makes me sound shallow. I want to protect your workforce. Our catalog grows ever larger. I'm sure we can find something you'd like. Can't put a price on your loved ones. Oh, so this is a sales pitch after all. I'm sorry, Max, I don't have time for this. I'm a very busy man with places to be. Well, let's not jump to conclusions. A sales pitch means you're able to decline. It implies you have a choice in the matter. Excuse me? I already have my men arming the building. They'll be finished in a couple hours. What? Oh, don't worry about it, Singe. We're using largely non-lethal methods. You know, chemical dispersion and stuff. And there will only be a couple explosives. Sorry, but I had to take initiative. That's how you build an empire, Singe. Have your men back off immediately. Max, we are in a foreign country. We don't have the permits or permission. Already taken care of, Singe. You seem to underestimate me. I want no part in this. I'm uncomfortable housing weapons. I don't own this place. Please stop. I won't hesitate to call the police. I don't want to escalate this, Max. Back away from this peacefully. You're right. You don't own this place. Just a couple of weeks ago, I bought it. It's property of Armstrong Incorporated. As of this moment, you're a trespasser. In clear violation of the law, Singe. How will that look on your record? You're bribing me? No, I haven't gotten to that part yet. Singe, if you don't let us arm this place, I'll have you charged for trespassing. But I've paid for a lease. That's not how it works, Max. It's a legally binding contract. Any contract can be bought out. You just need the right amount of cash. As it turns out, I have a limitless supply. Do you still wish to contest this? Yes, I do. I was hoping I wouldn't come to that. Max reaches into her pocket and takes out a photograph. Look at this. How'd you get that? I keep it in my pocket at all times. You don't know what you're dealing with. Forces beyond your control are at play. You need to let me do this, and now. The person in this photograph They mean the world to you. Yes. So, if the law won't make you cave, I'll have to get a little more personal. You'll lose someone dear to you instead. I demand your full cooperation, Singe, or else I'll take things into my own hands. And in doing so, take your world away. She rips the photograph in half. No! Who are you? No one important. At least, not yet. I already went through your phone. I got your number and a few others. Expect me to be in touch. It seems this tour may start with a bang. Meanwhile, it's always one thing after another. I swear, I won't get a break until I die. The press conference was just a start. People have been begging for interviews. I guess I can try to find time for them. I'll have to focus on the big outlets, the ones that can spread word farther. No offense to the little guys, of course. Free advertising, improved public image. The world has to know we're okay. I have to start by making a... Hello, Rook. Claire? What are you doing here? I came here to see the conference. You know, I heard about Clace and stuff, so I wanted to see what was going on. Claire shuffles awkwardly in place. Rook types in his tablet at a frantic pace. They both seem apprehensive. It was definitely something, wasn't it? Singe hasn't been himself lately. I noticed a change in his mindset. I have to talk some sense into him yet. He shouldn't be in here. All civilians were apparently escorted out. Just stating the facts. It's not that I'm unhappy to see you again. So, how is business back at the cafe? Better than ever. Things have been great. Not to say it's better without you. It's just, well, things are alright. I'm glad to hear that. I hope you put my check to good use. Yes, of course. We were bankrupt. You sent it at the perfect time, Rook. I was just about to shut the doors for good. Your check saved the business, but it also showed you still cared. I guess that's why I came here. You're still in my thoughts, too. What perfect timing. I heard you were going through some trouble. I didn't know it was that bad, Claire. At least, it was the least I could do. I mean, I put you through so much trouble. I just ran away, like a coward. It's okay, Rook. I know you had your reasons. Have you been able to move on? In a way. He stares at the screen of his tablet. I'm glad to hear. I needed to see how you were holding up. I mean, since Clace passed on. I didn't want you to react the same way. I was able to bounce back, but Singe? I'm not sure he could handle it. It's okay, Claire. I'm fine. The death of Clace was very unfortunate, but we were never really that close. Not as close as I was to him. This won't affect me the same way, Claire. It'll push through for Singe and Jade. Yeah, for Jade. You've gotten quite close to her, right? Yeah, we're definitely close. We spend almost every working hour together. Singe always has stuff for us to do. It's a lot harder to work than a maid cafe. That I can say for sure. But it feels rewarding when we finish. I have to push myself. I end up growing. Perhaps that's why I'm taking this... Perhaps that's why I'm not taking this as hard as I was the last time. I'm stronger. Yeah, it seems that way. I wish you were like this back in the cafe. It was so much fun to work with you, Rook. With this newfound strength, it changed your personality, too. You can say that again. I don't think I'd be a good host anymore. I think about it sometimes and laugh. But people change. It's unavoidable. I think I found my calling here. I'm glad you're doing well for yourself. Actually, I'm glad we're both here. Seeing those contest winners enter the cafe, it just shot me back into the past. Like I relived every moment of our career. And every moment after. In fact, I really embarrassed myself. It's not often I cry out in the open. I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. I just wanted to show them a good time. You came to mind when I thought of that. It's fine, trust me. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. I'm thankful we got to meet again. But I'm thinking to myself, what now? What do you mean? I don't know what I expect to happen next. I didn't even picture getting this far. Perhaps nothing needs to happen. I mean, you're doing well on your own. I am too. Maybe that's closure enough. I suppose you're right, Rook. I know that you're holding up all right. It won't keep me up at night anymore. But what if I don't want this closure? What do you mean? Will you keep in touch with me? I'm not asking you to come back to work, but I would love to become friends again. Feel free to say no if you'd like. I'm not trying to recreate what we had, because we're both different people, but... Eclair, calm down. The answer is yes. She sure is taking her sweet time. She seemed like the punctual type. Wonder what's keeping her. If she doesn't make it, I'm leaving. I could spend my time much better. I don't like standing around. He starts to walk away. Hello, Rocker. I'm sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm a little late. I have a lot on my agenda today. Oh, hey there, it's okay. I know what it's like to be busy. Thankfully, I have a lot of free time now. Sorry for almost bumping into you. I didn't see you there. There's been a lot on my mind lately. Yeah, I heard what happened, Rocker. This whole enterprise was thrown for a loop. But I heard news Singe broke earlier. He plans to get you back on your feet. Des is a fine replacement, in my opinion. I agree, she's very talented. We're not close, but that'll change. We have to get along if we're touring. Of course. The closer you are, the better your stage chemistry is. That's how it works, right? Like yourself in shock. You could say that, yeah. A lot of people fake their onstage chemistry in this world. Many bands just end up hating each other. And I guess you get along, it shows in the way you perform. People feel the connection too, and get more involved. That sounds right. You're pretty good at this stuff, Max. Thank you, Rocker. Max fidgets awkwardly, rubbing the rope on her arm. So, can I ask why you wanted to meet me? Of course. Well, we're all stuck here. I thought I'd get to know everybody. But there is another reason. I have a list of very important people, and you're actually at the top of it. Wait, like an award ceremony? I haven't been nominated in a long time. No, not an award ceremony, but it's definitely an exclusive list. The numbers are very few. That sounds pretty cool. Do you think I could take a look at it? Absolutely, be my guest. Max hands Rocker a piece of paper. As he reads it, she fiddles with the rope once more. Rocker, Shock, Rook, Kyla, Singe, Anumi, Acheron, Daz, Clace, Jade. Wow, we're all here. Save for Devon, of course. I noticed one of the names is scratched out. Would it happen to be the previous guard? Acheron was a rather late addition, yes. So what do you think about the list? The list of everybody here, I mean, all of us in the building. I can't think of anyone else. Well, you'd be absolutely right. It's a list of those under this roof. Glad to know it's correct. Oh, you didn't make this yourself? No, I didn't. Someone made it for me. Someone with way more power than I have. I just took notes while he spoke. Nice, so who made it? His name is Rayo, and he would very much like to meet you. He's waiting, if you have the time. Sure, that sounds really cool. I don't have much to do right now. Good thing, just follow my lead. Max removes her remote from her arm. Gripping it tightly, she approaches Rocker. Would you like to save your game? Yes. Okay, that was the last one. Save here. And save. Alrighty. Interesting. Still on chapter 5. Okay. When I have arrived in the office, they stare at me intently. I quickly apologize for any tardiness I have displayed. I explained that Acheron had held me up in order to chat. This seems to be enough to sate their curiosity. No worries, we had no schedule. Besides, Kyla kept me company. We had quite a lot to chat about. Yeah, Cinch is really cool. He's smart and well-spoken. I could learn a lot from him. You flatter me, Kyla, but please have a seat. There's so much to discuss. I do as instructed and sit beside Kyla. I expected the atmosphere in the room to be happy, but for some reason I feel a sense of dread. Singe also looks like he's at his wit's end. At a press conference, he seems so calm and carefree, but that must have been an act for the public. I have to wonder, is this how he truly feels? I wanted to start by thanking you both. Your dedication has been unmatched. The contest was a massive success. To that end, I have a present for you. I wanted to give it to you much earlier. Just give me a moment to get them, alright? Singe reaches under his desk for a few moments. He then opens and closes drawers looking for something. After a few moments, he smiles and lets out a sigh. Almost like he was afraid he lost them for a moment. I know you had to give away the cans. The ones you won for your spot, I mean. To be honest, I found that silly. So I decided to have some replicas made. Something you could keep as a souvenir. They're exactly the same as you knew. Yes, I'm a man of sentiment. The contest clearly meant a lot to you, so I thought this would be a nice gift. He places 2 cans of Popstar on his desk. Me and Kyla exchange glances with one another. Well, Cinch, that's really awesome. I was sad I had to give mine away. But now everything is A-okay. Kyla happily grabs the can and places it in his pocket. This sure was interesting, I didn't expect that. The can on the desk reminds me of those simpler times. It was an exact replica of the one that got me here. But now, it seems a little different, doesn't it? After all that has happened, was it really so prestigious? It seems that it won us lots of pain and suffering. I hoped to myself that things would resolve happily. Still, so I don't seem rude, I accept the offering. I rested in my lap, noticing that it's full. I'm assuming Singe wants it to stay that way. I had to guard over these cans with my life. I didn't want them to get stolen or leaked. Then there could be more than 2 winners. This is a personal present from myself. Please, treat them with love and care. With that said, we have to move on. A lot has happened since we arrived here. And especially since you 2 arrived. I'm very sorry that it's come to this, but I no longer feel safe keeping you here. I I've arranged for transportation. Tomorrow, you will both be taken home. I'm afraid the contest is cancelled. Trust me, it's not what I want. Here. And I truly wish I had better news, but we have to move on from this. You two are exempt from my previous rule of having to stay inside this building. You're both free, but that's not all. You'll be receiving compensation, of course. We had a lot of money set aside for you two. Instead, we'll just be giving it to you. You get a check before you leave, for about $100,000. I hope these terms are acceptable. Your flight home will be tomorrow. I hope that we can be mature here. We agree to these terms? I will. A non-acceptance, I can't exactly say no. But I knew I was still needed in Terra, so I'd have to play the rest of this by ear. This money isn't much when worlds are at stake. With that said, I have one last gift. Cinch reaches into his pocket and pulls out 2 cards. Interesting, they appear to be credit cards. There's one for each of you. They have a few $1,000s on them. It will help until you cash the check. This is my own personal money too. Another gift, directly from me. There are lots of amenities on site. I trust you will enjoy your final day. Your flight will leave by noon. Meet me in the lobby at 7 o'clock. Okay. Kyle grabs one of the cards and puts it in his pocket. I follow suit and do the same thing. This is eerie. It's almost like this isn't happening. It was surreal. The end of an era, it feels like. Everything we both wanted taken away from us. But I can't give up. There's still lots to solve. Just then, Cinch's phone rings. He puts a finger up, ordering us to wait a moment. Yes, Cinch speaking. I see. Are you certain? I understand. Please call for help. Cinch hangs up his phone. He slumps down in his chair with a huge sigh. What happened? Who was that? I'm afraid I have some bad news. A corpse was found on the premises. In the backstage area, to be precise. Are you serious? Cinch places both hands over his face. He continues to speak, but it's muffled. I think clear what emotion is sworn underneath. It was Rocker, our guitarist. Again, at a much earlier time. So, I guess that's all I need to say. The list, these people, and Devon. Not to mention the power I've given you. Any questions before I send you back? Remember, this may be your only chance. I don't want you leaving with any regrets. None. It was all very clear. It might be hard to find a way in. The tour already has a guard, you know. It shouldn't be an issue. After that, your opposition. Their goal is to kill. Yours is to protect. Again, it shouldn't be an issue. I've never failed any of my clients. I have no need to treat this differently. Well, there is some leeway here. You just need to leave one person alive. For your competition, it's all or nothing. It will be interesting to see who wins. Life and death fighting each other. This spot is as good as mine. I have no intention of ruining my record. I've never let a client down before. Very well. I have one final request, however, regarding the one called Devon. What is it? I'll be making up a big story, something about parallel worlds. They'll think they have a power. If they tell you this, humor them. They mustn't know the truth of things. They are the key to my other venture. Very well. With that being said, are you ready for the games to begin? The eternal struggle of life and death. This time we'll have a victor. Yes, I am. Good. And one final thing. When you meet your opposition, I think you'll come to understand. There's no motivation like sibling rivalry. Velasquez kneels at an altar, surrounded by silence. In my time of need, I fear that I am alone. But who does a man such as me pray to, when I already bear the burden of the world? When his fate is now upon us. He grips his scepter in his hands, trembling softly. A monument to the dead is my only hope. Perhaps that is proof enough of my failure. But I know we can find salvation. For nothing is below such a right. Not as long as they have power, or if they have the strength to use it. Fate of the universe is now a gamble, and here I am filled with doubt. When once I was so sure. However, now it is too late. They are coming with 1,000 furies, and they will seek only our destruction. Taking a deep breath, he stands. But as they say about desperate times, he aims a sharp side of the scepter towards his body, drives it through his chest. With a frightened scream, he loses his balance. Grabbing up Pew for balance, he watches the floor become stained with his blood. He cries, "For Terra and the immortal king." We wait in silence for too long. Singe rests his face in his hands in utter defeat. Kyla and I exchange glances, unsure of what to do. Was Rocker truly dead, and aligning perfectly with those mysterious texts? Wait, I have to use my brain here. The message said a friend of mine would die today. I can't say that I consider Rocker a friend. I have had next to no contact since I've arrived. The only people I've had real contact with, Kyla and Rook, but they're safe and sound. Make eye contact with Kyla, I shrug. Perhaps it would be best for us to leave Singe alone, and perhaps leave this place altogether. We shouldn't have to wait until morning. Not with danger like this lurking about, especially not since we have those credit cards. Singe, are you okay? I am conflicted. Rocker was a prodigy. This loss is profound. Not just for me and my endeavors, but for the music industry as a whole. Takes out a phone and starts texting. I must confer with Acheron, but I think we all know what this means. Huh? The killer is among us. This calls for a change of plans. A change? I need to work with Acheron. Together we can catch this killer. While on the other hand, your flight home has been bumped up. I'll make sure you're home later tonight. I'm sure you understand. Clace is not an isolated incident. The worst has come to pass. We are under attack, and I cannot risk you two as casualties. Yeah, I understand. Talk about worst case scenario. What if this tour would ever happen? So much has gone to waste. But for what purpose? Why would someone want to do this? That's a good question, actually. And I did not have better grasp on things than he did. If someone was misusing their powers from the Ark, why would they give it to them in the first place? I assumed that he chose the specimens carefully. At least, that's what the impression he gave to me. I didn't think he'd choose someone so reckless. In fact, I thought I was the only one chosen. And do I really want to leave? I feel like I have a part to play in this mystery. For now, it seems like this ends tonight. And that's all the time I have before I'm sent home. That's a tall order. Capture a murderer and save Terra all in one night? I feel like I bit off more than I can chew. So what do we do in the meantime? I wish you just sticking together, or at least be around those you trust. Shock and Rocker barely parted ways. The Rocker must have been watching. The killer must have been watching and waiting until Rocker was alone. Don't give them that chance. I'm afraid that's all the advice I have. Wait a minute. You gonna make us stay here when there's a killer out and about? That's crazy. I thought maybe you'd make us wait at the airport or something, Singe. But keeping us in harm's way? That's a very pessimistic way of looking at things, Kyla. You should rethink this. This is basically a hostage situation. We might as well have our guns to our heads. And what's the one thing you must never do when someone has a gun pointed at you? Make sudden movements. Exactly. A rash action like that might provoke the assailant into attacking rash actions on their own. We must remain here. I think it's best if we let them assume their plan is coming to fruition. That way we can catch them off guard later on. I will discuss the best course of action with Acheron. If I'm not mistaken, this is far from his first brush with the killer. But as it stands, I think the best course of action is not to give off the impression that we fear the killer. That we're running. I guess that makes sense. I don't know. Truth be told, I don't know either. But Acheron will. If the plan changes, I'll let you know. You guys send just contact information. Alright. Sinsley's back in his chair with a sigh. At first, I thought I was responsible for Clay's death. That maybe allowing him to leave this place put him in danger. But now I know we've been targeted. Honestly, I think that Clace would have been attacked no matter where he was. I don't know if that's scary or if it's reassuring. But now, the burden of responsibility is one easily discarded. I feel as if my mind has become clear. I will use this newfound resolve to find and restrain the killer. Give them justice. And Acheron and myself will do it swiftly. He slams his fist down on the table. You are free to go. Please heed the advice I gave earlier, and I will be in contact about your flight. I can understand where he's coming from. Guilt can be a devastating force. To be free from it is truly liberating. Especially if it wasn't your fault. Devin, you can go. I need to have a few words with Singe. I'll run to you later, I'm sure. Kyler reclines in his chair, clearly displaying that he's here to stay. Very well. Be safe, Devin. I nod. This is all a lot to process. I guess we were expected to act like rats in a cage. Moving as the mastermind expects. Hopefully none of us wants to rattle that cage. Would you like to save your game? Yes. Go ahead and do save 2. Alrighty, and that's actually going to be it for this episode. I'm sorry it was a little bit on the short side, but 30 minutes isn't too bad. I really appreciate all of you coming in and watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.